Let's get it. Welcome back to the Overheard Podcast, recorded live in Banff. My name is Daniel Ruda. With me always is my co-host,
Matty Rage. Let's go.
Let's go. If it's your first time joining us, please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. We check the analytics every week, and it bounces around, but a ton of you guys are joining us for the first time and don't subscribe. So please find it in the kindness of your soul. Hit the like and subscribe. Costs you nothing. Helps us tremendously. Our guest this week is Andrew Philpott, also known as Andrew Staygold. Welcome to the show today. Thanks for taking the time to chat. It's been a long time coming, man.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming.
How's the day going so far?
It's a beautiful day out there in beautiful Banff, Alberta. Couldn't be happier with the spring season right now.
No doubt.
Like the second nice day that we've had all spring. We have one of the better snowpacks that we've had in the last 10 years, from what I've been saying. Like, people on the backcountry websites, the WAPTAs apparently is in great shape. All these big backcountry objectives are kind of in prime territory. Maybe not now since these last 2 warm days. But yeah, a very great spring in the Bow Valley so far.
Totally.
Before we get too far into things, let's check in with our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Drink Shaft. We couldn't do this without them. We want to give them a very, very big thank you. We'll be back with you in 30 seconds.
Winter in Banff hits different. Cold air, frozen mornings, and that brief stillness before the day kicks off. Fuel your early starts with Drink Shaft, the non-alcoholic, all-natural espresso energy drink made for mountain days and the longer ones around the house or the office. Find Drink Shaft in over 1,000 stores across Western Canada. Grab one before you head out on your next adventure. Remember that seasons change, but Drink Shaft, it always stays the same.
All right. We're back, baby. Let's go.
We are back. Thank you so much for joining us today. Andrew Philpott, a.k.a. Andrew Staygold, moved to Banff from Ontario in 2004 and never looked back. Falling in love with mountain lifestyle and the community of Banff, he found his heart and home here from day one. After spending his first generation bouncing around the service industry and the ski industry, he found a powerful connection in music. Chasing that dream took him away from the Bow Valley for 3 years, but this place never left his heart. When the opportunity returned, he came back and quickly found his career in music. And here we are, how many years later?
I think this is my 20th year here in town.
20th year in town.
So you're local now,
That is
then.
wild.
You know, there's lots of different levels of local, but I definitely feel pretty at home here.
Let's go back to the beginning. For people who maybe have never crossed paths with you before, who is Andrew Staygold?
Andrew Staygold is my stage name and my professional identity as a musician and a performer. I've been doing gigs and audio work around Banff and the Bow Valley for the past 12 years, and as I've said, I've lived here for 20 years. I'm a passionate music lover. I love the mountain environment, the mountain lifestyle, and all the people who get connected with this place.
There is no shortage of cool people that come through Banff, that's for sure. It's a very unique lifestyle, I would say. But we'll dive into that in a little bit.
I would agree.
The lifestyle.
What got you out here originally? We said you moved here originally back in 2004?
2004.
Jeez.
2004. I was just finishing high school, and I went right into like basically hard labor job. I was working like 5-6 days a week, 10+ hours a day.
Oh God.
And I was just waking up stressed, grinding my teeth with stress in the morning, and I was just like, how can this be my life? Like, this is basically, I'm not loving this at all. So my parents were like, hey, you should take the family car, drive out west, try something new, and make sure you peek your head into Banff along the way.
Nice.
Because they had both had their own sort of respective touch points in Banff and their own history. And so I packed up my car and I went out on my first ever big road trip on my own, and it changed my whole life once I rolled into town here, for sure.
That's sick. It's wild your parents are just like, take the car and get out of here, go do something cool.
Yeah, I guess it is kind of wild, but it was a blessing for sure.
What was that initial feeling rolling into Banff? What was it that caught your eye?
I mean, I can sort of say it was like I had my head out the window. I literally nearly crashed my car a few times, quite actually, as I drove into the mountains for the first time. The mountains had always been in my heart from like movies and books and everything, and I'd never seen them until that point. This like the mountains here, dramatic. And yeah, so it was an intensely special moment. I can still remember it. I can still remind myself of that feeling when I'm like driving back from Calgary.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, remember when I was doing this when all those years ago, and how excited I was. It still gets a smile on my face now, you know.
I just got chills kind of thinking about it.
Yeah.
There's that hill before the gas station. What is it, Cochrane?
Yeah.
Where you make that slight right turn and then you're going downhill and the mountains are just like in view. That's the point for me.
Oh, yeah. It's like
here, baby.
I was on the way out trying to take pictures and like post them on Instagram. I'm like, this doesn't even do them justice at all whatsoever. Like, you got to kind of be here just to get it. It's at, first, like, just passing Lacta's Arc, even just coming in there. Oh, yeah, you're just like, all right, well, I guess we're officially in the mountains, boys. Let's hit it.
Out of nowhere, right? Banff, obviously not the easiest place to make a life. What has kept you here when so many others, unfortunately, have come and gone?
I mean, for me, I go right back to that initial connection feeling that I felt and experienced. Like, right from the get-go, I was so in awe. I was just so excited to be around here, and I just really wanted to get after it. And it was something that I noticed that a lot, maybe even the majority of my like Staffacom peers back then weren't really on that same wavelength. Like, we'd finish our workday and it would be like, all right, who wants to go and hike Sea Level Cirque, or who wants to go up Tunnel Mountain or something like that. And then like 80% of the people or more would be like, I think I'm just going to hang out in the common room and like put on The Simpsons or whatever. And I'm like, man, that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years.
Yeah,
I know that's what you guys have been doing too. And now we're all made our way out here, and you just kind of want to keep repeating that cycle. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but for me, it was just like, no, there's no way. I'm just feeling so passionate about getting out and involved in this mountain environment. And even now, all these years later, I still have so many, peaks that I want to get after, and there's still my mountain skills that I want to improve. So that feeling hasn't gone away for me,
Once you start scratching that surface of exploring the backcountry specifically, I mean, the tools, the knowledge, the areas you can discover are truly endless.
Yeah.
Would you say you had a love for the outdoors before you moved to Banff, or was that something that really kind of kicked in when you got here?
I definitely had a love of the outdoors before. I was very fortunate to go to summer camp for sort of a month of the year throughout my younger teens. And I would do a lot of canoe chipping and just like trekking out in the woods and such. And so once I hit the mountain environment, it was sort of that feeling times 5, Not that lake country and everything in Ontario is a bad time at all, but for me here, the excitement was again just like 5 times greater, and I just really wanted to get out there and be a part of it.
Kind of just like pushes you to get out there, like especially when you wake up in the morning and you look out and you see this.
Yeah,
you're kind of like, well, I mean, I should probably go at least for a quick hike or go do something out in nature. Like you're in the thick of it, right? So
that is the feeling, 100%.
Yeah. Well, after 2 decades being out here, how have you seen Banff change in your eyes?
I mean, there's lots that you could talk about for sure about how things have changed. But for me, the touch points that I'll just go to is the demographic has changed. Like in those mid-2000 years when I showed up, the lifestyle was sort of the reward that you got for maybe like working minimum wage jobs or living in Staffacoms and shared accommodations and stuff like that. And that sort of attracted a particular demographic, like guys like me. And it was sort of rough and reckless, and it was fun like that. It was exciting. And again, not that anything's bad, that things have changed, but it's like now when I see people arrive here, they come with like a plan. They had to come pre-financed. I meet a lot of people who work their trade jobs or their jobs or worked hard in the mines in Australia or something like that to like finance this as a lifestyle experience. They weren't just like showing up and like.
That's a very good point.
They came to be here for a year or two, as it were, and sort of maybe tick that off of their life list of something that they wanted to do. And that was just sort of a different way of approaching it than the way I felt like that mid-2000s generation showed up for it,
100%. I feel like back then, coming here with nothing and then more like vagabond.
Oh, yeah.
Or even just ending up here, right? Like, One trend that I noticed has kind of stopped over the years is probably maybe 5 to 7 years ago or before, you would always have an influx of people from Quebec passing through to go cherry picking, and they would
That's
always
right.
stop in Banff.
That's right,
But that doesn't
100%.
really happen anymore.
it does
I think
not.
they've maybe been priced out, or like maybe
Well,
just people aren't doing that.
There's nowhere to like. There's just nowhere to like crash. Like I think the barrier to entry to be here now is maybe a little higher than I've been here almost 13 years
Yeah.
now. Like I came with a backpack and a suitcase, was like, I'll figure it out. Volunteered up at the HI hospital, got my foot in the door there, and then get a job. And then you live in a staff comm, and you end up finding an apartment. It's like that's so much harder to do now than it was.
You're the first one to ever raise that point that, yeah, like the demographic now is coming here with, they said pre-finance. That's such a good way to say it. Like, and they're coming here like with the idea of they're going to enjoy themselves and burn that money, whereas we're kind of like, hey, we're going to go there with nothing.
Yeah, I think I had about $1,000.
Kind of, and it's like it's absolutely no shade on today's generation. There's nothing wrong. Like things change. This is how it goes. But that's definitely something that's a noticeable factor for me, for sure as well. Like change is the only constant in life, but the pressure of money and capitalism and the need to expand and grow is kind of relentless in a way, for better or worse. Like I have my own parts in that where I'm like, I'm taking all these gigs where there used to not be gigs and shoulder seasons and stuff like that because this festival or that festival is coming to fill up those slow zones. So there's not really those shoulder seasons like I remember having where the town would really quieten off for like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or whatever. Yeah, and it's like, again, it's not a bad thing, but it is what it is. But that's definitely something that I sort of remember from back then. I'll finish with, I guess it sort of just ties into there used to be a stronger sense, in my opinion, of conservationism around here. Right?
Yeah,
like
fair.
you couldn't go into the woods and break that stick or pick up that rock or anything like that because there was really, shout out whoever the people that were fostering that mentality. But it doesn't seem like that is the same pressure that it used to be. Now it seems like the boundaries are a little more relaxed and it's like maybe we can expand here. Maybe we can do that thing here, sort of a vibe for better or worse,
Fair enough. It's a very good point as well.
Yeah, look at like Cascade Ponds in the summer. Just like people go out there, just leave piles and piles of garbage out there. It's
I think as visitation goes up, maybe the responsibility that someone else will clean it up. It's like I've said this countless times. In my last experience to a major city, I was flirting with the philosophy that the more people you're surrounded by, your sense of empathy tends to go down a little bit. Like you don't care as much about your neighbor when you have 10,000 neighbors versus in a smaller community, you're not going to cut someone off in traffic because that might be someone right? Whereas as visitation and as you see more people crowded in a smaller space, it's like, oh, I'll just throw this wrapper on the ground because someone's paid to pick it up versus when you see less people, that's your responsibility to pick it up. You know what I mean?
I like that perception there. Yeah, I think that's a thumb on the pulse there.
It's kind of like a human nature thing, But.
Well, while we're on it, like, what do you think people might get wrong about? Like, just looking from the outside in, what do you think the average person gets wrong about the Banff lifestyle?
I was sort of curious about this one. I'm not 100% sure how to answer it because, like, number one, I'm not spending too much time outside of Banff, really engaging with people who are like, well, what do you think about the Banff lifestyle or whatever? Can I ask you guys what that question means to you?
For sure, I think the Banff lifestyle changes depending on how long you've been here, right? Like, my lifestyle in my first 5 years here or 10 years here is drastically different than it has been for the last 5 years, we'll say.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I think the Banff lifestyle and being that like work hard, play hard, ski hard, enjoy the outdoors. I don't know. What do you think, say, someone from Calgary that comes here? Like I feel like they have this perception of people that work here that is like, we're all kind of that ski bum that came here to, make something out of nothing.
Well, isn't that in a little way sort of the truth too?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Usually I guess when I hang out with Calgary folk who come up skiing and everything like that, they're just like, it's too small of a town. I need all of the amenities and
Right.
culture and services that are offered in the city, right?
Yeah.
And I feel basically the opposite about that. I'm like, love going to the city for the day trip to go access all of those features, but at the end of the day, I love it when the sun goes down. And even in the busiest times of the season here, I only have to walk 400 meters off of Banff Avenue in the evening, and it's quiet. There's a deer over there. That to me is the best.
For sure. The longer you stay here, you know where to find solitude in the busy months, right? Like,
you know where the tourists aren't. You learn that
Exactly.
really quick.
And again, like, you could live in a small town that has no tourism, and you probably won't have the same lifestyle that you do here, right? Like, everything kind of comes with.
Small town.
Of course, we're quick to like condemn tourism and whatever as like this big evil thing, but it's not. It's the
not.
reason we're all here.
It's definitely not. Yeah, for sure. We're definitely like, for me, I'm definitely, as I mature, I suppose my empathy does go up, I find, and yeah, like in my business and all of our businesses really, because we're all fostering tourism around here in one way or another, and it's important that these people come. And it's great to have business sort of swelling more than ever. I'm reaping my percentage of those rewards. But it is easy to also then see how it's sort of squeezing through the cracks as well. And you're like, man, it doesn't seem like there's quite as much space at times. And
I just feel it's kind of a selfish mentality to have because like we all live here because we love it and it's beautiful. And it's like you're mad at the people that want to come experience it for a day because it's beautiful and it's lovely, right?
Sure.
I don't know. And again, I've been in that camp myself. It's just hard to find that,
Depends
like
on
you said, that
depends on your
empathy.
mindset for the day. Like you get smoked at work and you're just trying to go home and you're just like, please just get the ever living hell out of the way so I can go home and like just have a beer and sit on my patio. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you got to remember why we're here, right? So
it is true. You try and walk down a frustratingly crammed Banff Avenue and people don't know how to drive or make right-hand turns on a red light and stuff, and you're just like grinding your teeth. But you still get to meet. I still get to meet lots of awesome people all the time, and it does warm my heart to meet to see people have their ooh and ah moments. Just like I'm sure we all know and understand. They're like, I'm at the top of Sulphur Mountain right now. Like, look at this view, and I'm like, yeah, look at this view, bro.
And at the end of the day, we get to experience this every day. So, we're the lucky ones, I guess. What is the biggest lesson that you would say that Banff has taught you in your time here?
Lots of life lessons here. Like I showed up when I was 19. I'm 42 now, so lots of things have happened. But the two biggest ones that really stand out for me would be gratitude and humility. Gratitude because just like we've been saying, it's such a beautiful town. There's so much to be happy here about. There's so much to wake up and look forward to. And it's a nasty bug that gets under your skin sometimes, in those seasons of your life where you get grumpy or you get frustrated by what isn't, what you don't love or what's happening like that. And so I think I'm doing a pretty good job these days of really celebrating that gratefulness for the area that we are in and the people that are around us. And then for me as well, humility is a really good one too. I've just had a lot of, I guess, that reckless, outrageous behavior of my 20s especially was just like, it seemed like a lot of fun, but it was also like playing with fire a lot.
100%, dude. Very well said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taking a step back and looking at your behaviors.
It's kind of nice to just feel like I'm growing up, I guess, a little bit then.
Yeah, fair
and be
enough.
like, hey, it's okay to put on my humble hat and still really be able to enjoy what's going around here and not sort of having to like wag the finger and be righteous about every little detail or what have you.
Well, what was that scene for you, like bouncing around kind of the tourism and, hospitality and working at Ski Hill or whatever? Like, what was that phase like for you?
Well, my first 7 years I was here, let me see here, I made my list. I was a housekeeper at the Voy, first job, the Voyageur.
I've been there, done
How
that.
tough is housekeeping? It's a tough job. I hate it. Like, I did not enjoy my time housekeeping at all.
Me neither.
It was exciting for me because it was my very first job, and it was sort of campy in the sense that we were all living in Staffacom together.
Fair.
And it was, for me, coming from small town Ontario, it was a wonderful mix-up. There was all the, like, English was a minority in that Staffacom. All the Quebecers and the Acadians from like New Brunswick and stuff like that. So they were speaking French more often. So it was kind of cool like that. But yeah, once 6 months had gone by for me, that wasn't, just wasn't connecting like that. But I was a housekeeper. I was a line cook at Earl's that summer. And then I was a server at the Evergreen in the Royal Canadian Lodge, server and cook at the Paddock. Server bartender up at Chappers, prep cook at Coyotes. I was a garbage man for the town of Banff, bartender up at the Banff Center. I did trail crew and ski patrol at Lake Louise, and I was a cook at Timbers as well in a 7-year period there.
So you ran the full gamut.
Kind of.
Dude,
yeah, it was like definitely, and again, that kind of goes back to being hot-headed and maybe a little outrageous is I would kind of be in a cycle where you do a bunch of those jobs for sort of a year or less or a little more. And then it was just like, this is burning down. I need to go to the next one sort of a vibe, right? So yeah, it was a lot of fun, to be honest. There was definitely a lot of highs and there was a lot of lows. But from basically struggling to make those ends meet, working paycheck to paycheck and being like, what am I even doing here? Like to the plus side of things where you just get to meet all these amazing people and have these incredible work experiences and fun times with your friends in those days, right?
No doubt.
Yeah.
So when did music creep into your life as like a profession more than just a passion?
Well, I guess it was like specifically it was like at age 26, 27, I started to be like, yo, I think this is what I want to be about. But throughout those first years, it wasn't a specific goal. I was just enamored by music, seeing live shows, coming home from work and playing guitar on my own. And it didn't fully click in my head yet that I could try and pursue music as a career, but eventually it did come to that point. Yeah.
Wow. What was the moment that it kind of clicked for you that you realized you could make it?
I knew that I loved playing guitar and singing, and I knew that I was bouncing around to all these jobs and sort of just like not connecting my heart with the work.
Fair.
And that became like a really important idea in my mind. I was like, I need to be doing a job that I can just really show love and passion for.
No doubt.
And music just was that shining star in my head, even though it was not fleshed out even remotely to something that would be a job or a career for many years to come. It had that shiny presence in my mind, like this is the direction I should go in.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Well, you said you left for a couple of years to go pursue that. What made you take that leap, and what were you doing in the meantime?
Yeah, I did. I left for 3 years, and it was again at 27, and I had just kind of been winding down. The polite way to say it was I had been winding down all of my opportunities and friendships, as it were, here. Or at least that's what it felt like in my spirit. Another way you could describe it is burning all my bridges. And
easy to do in this town.
And realizing that I had kind of like, I felt like I was a bit homeless, actually. I was like, I've kind of got nowhere left to go here right now. And so I took off to Vancouver and I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna chase this dream. I'm gonna go and become a musician and make it and be a star, and everything will work out like that. And it was awesome at first. I went into Granville and I had all that. I had a lot of aura. I had a lot of aura and self-belief in myself that this was really gonna happen for sure. And I got into a club and bar on Granville, and there was lots of shows and DJs every night of the week. And I found my way into audio engineering school during the daytime, and it was pretty cool. I was kind of doing it like that, hitting the open mics, singing, trying to network. But that hot-headedness or that desire to really get immediate results was not happening. Like I was putting in work for sure, but I wasn't getting like celebrated. I wasn't like, here are these amazing opportunities. They weren't really happening for me. So So I did my year in Vancouver like that, finished my school, and then I went up to Whistler. I'm like, I need to reset. Went to Whistler. It's like, I'll do my whole ski bum thing again. But I'd already done that chapter. And, and as awesome as Whistler is, it's a super, super cool ski hill, and there's a ton going on in that community. It was just like, it felt like I was just doing what I had already done, but starting from the bottom again. I'd already been a ski patroller in this area, and then I was a lifty that season, and it was tremendously humbling. So that sort of finished up for me after 8-10 months, and I went back to Vancouver, went to East Van, where there's a pretty strong music scene going on there. Cool. Maybe even closer, more music scene than on Granville. And same deal, hit those open mics as often as I could, try and do any sort of performance, network with the people that are around there. But I wasn't there yet with my skills, It takes, for me, it's no overnight success. It takes a lot of time to really grind it out. And it just it wasn't hitting for me, And then one day I got the call to come and do an audio job here at Wild Bill's, or rather back at Wild Bill's here in Banff. And I was thrilled at that opportunity and jumped. And so I was 3 years away, and I came back really, really missing what I had left behind in town. Really sad that I had sort of left the way that I did, and it was super excited to come back and make a fresh start of it.
Almost like a redemption, like a second try at, I don't know, a different try maybe at something that you once cherished, For sure, there's redemption arc vibes, without a doubt. Yeah.
Well, you got like 139 paid gigs this year?
139 gigs in 2025.
So what does that level of consistency take for maybe someone out there who wants to get into it?
Well, I mean, that's my highest year ever, and that's sort of like the cherry on top of the last 10, 12 years that I have been back in Banff here in town and gigging and everything. But what does it take? It's a lot of consistency. The struggle to build those skills, the thousands of hours to just like practice your set and build up the songs. And really approaching it like a job and being super grateful. I basically stomped out, humbled, whatever, that sort of rock star mentality that I had in my head. And now it's more so like approaching it like a trade. I think about specifically my solo shows almost like I was a tradesman, like you're calling up an electrician or a plumber or something like that. Like, hey, we got a job for you, want you to show up? And I show up and I do an excellent and professional a job as I can. Satisfy the client as best as I can, satisfy the audience as best I can, and hopefully myself along the way too, For sure. Do that job. And I would play a lot. There were so many days where you'd play 2 gigs in a day. That's like often 6 or 7 hours of performing.
That's a lot.
My fingers would be I would start a set. I would do it for weeks on end in like the busy season in the summer and stuff. Like my very first chord of the day, my fingers would be so sore from the days before, and I would just be like, oh my God. And you drop into it. So it was awesome to be able to perform that much. I got crushed at tax season. Let me tell you about that side of performing a lot of gigs this year.
Please do.
But it's also incredibly rewarding, and I'm so proud of the opportunity to be able to pull off that many shows in a year for sure.
That's wild.
Well, dude, I'm proud of you too, man. I remember working at the Elk a lot of years ago, and having you perform kind of just like an evening set.
That's right.
Over on the right-hand side of the bar.
That's right.
Then so from seeing you kind of perform those early days 100%. To seeing you like headline gigs at the top of the gondola and like having the presence that you have now. Congratulations, man. You've worked hard, and it really shows in the product. Your sets are awesome, dude. If you're out there and you haven't seen it, make sure you get out to the next one. So
yeah, no doubt,
it's amazing.
Appreciate that for sure.
Do you think that kind of changed what changed in you when you kind of took that mentality shift from kind of that rock star mentality, thinking it's going to happen overnight, to kind of the tradesman approach that you have today?
I mean, it was just that slow, steady grind of me doing my shows, and they're not like necessarily like thrilling and exciting. Perhaps it's like you're kind of showing up to do a 3 or 4 hour job, as it were, right? And I would also see other performers along the way that would do things to their show or behave in ways that I was just like, that doesn't exactly resonate with me, you know, like. I'm not. I don't think that's cool or something like that, and that would affect how I would approach the job, and so I was just started honed my skills in a way that it just became more about the performance and less about being like exciting me doing something, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a great perspective to have, though, honestly. What would you say the biggest challenge is building kind of your own name and music career in a town like Banff?
For me, I think the challenges, I don't know, I kind of I'll level. I think the challenges are perhaps similar to everyone who's trying to build their career and make a living here. Like, it's not exactly easy. It's not exactly straightforward. You've basically got to be able to achieve a certain level of income, and you have to be able to sustain that. Probably grow it year after year.
Yeah.
You know, you have to find or secure housing in this community because we all know that the occupancy rate is like less than 1%. Like, there's lots of people who've lived here for decades, and then all of a sudden the house that they've long time lived in gets sold or something like that.
Yeah.
And then there's just no great accommodation for them to quickly move into, and so they have to look elsewhere. So on that note, shout out Banff Affordable Housing. I've lived in the Tinu apartments for 6 going on 7 years, something like that.
Oh, you were there like in the beginning then?
Pretty well.
Yeah,
like
nice.
within the first year, I got my application in, and it's been a real blessing to have such a solid and stable housing accommodation like that.
No doubt.
And then beyond that, you know, career is one thing, but it comes back to mountain lifestyle and the culture. Like, I think you've got to love living here, and at some point you've got to find your place in the community and the culture here in town if you really want to fit in and be a part over a long time.
100%.
What keeps you motivated when things in Banff are not always guaranteed, like housing or, you know, even gigs? Like, you got to keep up with that, right? Like, how do you stay motivated?
I've spent so many years. I've spent so many years on the grind, and that in itself, just knowing that I have momentum now, is highly motivating. So even when my schedule maybe dries up, like it's, you know, sort of spring season, there's not maybe as many gigs as like around Christmas or in the middle of summer or something like that. I just switch gears and I start working on getting back to my musical skills, leveling up as a player, starting to think about other ways that I can network or interact with different music venues, et cetera, around, you know.
Nice.
There's always something else to be working on. So that definitely keeps me interested in going.
I think when it's your passion too, it's easy to find that next thing to work on. It's not like, oh, I have to do this next. It's like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a bit of a different mentality towards it.
Totally.
For someone who's maybe never caught you live, how would you describe your sound?
I am 1 part Canadiana, 1 part classic rock, 1 part country, and 1 part pop rock.
Nice.
It all comes to me playing my guitar. You know, I sort of joke, after 30 minutes, it all kind of just sounds like me singing and playing my guitar. But I do have, I think I have a wide vocal range. I have a good low end, and I can get up high as well with my songs. So I can cover a lot of different tunes and genres. And I think one of my specialties is my ability to sort of just watch the room and read the crowd and hopefully be able to like drop the right song at the right time to the people who are maybe seeming the most interested in that moment, sort of a deal. So I think crowd pleasing kind of is one of my specialties as a cover artist.
You should try DJing then. That's pretty much like that's all you do. Like,
Well, I was gonna ask, like, where do you think you've honed that skill from?
I want it to be result based. Like, when I get hired again, it's like I do sort of approach it like I was a tradesman, right? So I don't just come in and do what I'm going to do. I want to come in, like if we're at the bar, if we're at the pub here right now, for example, like what's kind of the most important goal of my performance? Well, it's to make sure that people who are going to stay here stay for another round of drinks. It's the people who are walking by and they're like, what's going on in here? And they get interested and they come in. I want the bartender to go home with, 50 extra bucks or whatever it is in their tip jar. I want the managers to look at their sales sheet at the end of the night and be like, hey, when Andrew was working, we did this much more business,
like,
sort
hey,
of a
that
deal.
was worth it.
Precisely, right? And that's that to me is a total win-win approach to how I like to do my music.
That's such a big part of being a solo performer, though. Like when I was in bands, it was like especially if you're playing all your own original material, it's like you kind of have your set list and that's kind of it, right? Like you're not really reading the crowd. Like the crowd's kind of either there to see you or they're not, right? And like when I switched over to DJing, it's a whole different ball game. It's like people don't understand. Like you play a song and you see the dance floor just clear out. It's like, okay, maybe that vibe's not working right now. Like read the room a bit, try a couple songs, see what sticks. And like that's like you want to, like Andrew said, you want the bar to make money. You want people to be up at there having a drink like, oh, this DJ or this performer is awesome. Like we're going to stick around for another round. That's the whole like backside of being a solo performer that most people don't understand, I guess. Or
I think it's a
really
very
realize.
good lesson for maybe younger solo acts that are out in the game to look at it from that perspective of providing value rather than putting on my show. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of a mixture of both because you have to have fun, you have to deliver a good experience, but like you said, reading the crowd and playing to them is also a big part of it too.
Yeah, you don't want to play material that you absolutely hate. Like no musician wants to go out there. Like I don't want to go out there and DJ songs that I hate. Like there's always some, you can find songs in a style that can appeal to kind of everybody, and you just throw what sticks, and when you see it stick, just throw more of that, right?
There is a balance and there is a trade-off, and like my particular method that I'm trying to do, maybe by being a bit of a crowd pleaser for the room, isn't necessarily at all what everybody else needs or has to do at all.
No.
And like there's almost a cap, if you want to be doing my style, there's sort of like a cap in a way on what you can do. Like I do 3-hour cover sets, right? That's typically my sort of range. Being an original artist is definitely a lot harder to come up with music.
3 hours of original music.
Well,
Not only that, but are people going to like it? Like,
This is the thing,
all,
yeah.
Right? Like it's like you might pour your heart and soul into that 3 hours of music, and people are just like, this is not my vibe. Like I'm not digging this at
Which
all.
is probably a
And
way
then-
more crushing experience, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm sure everybody gets to go through a crushing experience at some point or another in a musical journey, etc. But then there's also the flip side too. Like think about if you do make some music that people do like and it's original. Like there's lots of, I'm an audio technician as well. There are lots of bands that I've mixed who come in and do like 40 or 50 minutes, which is kind of like nothing to me.
Yeah.
That seems like a warm up almost. But that's their whole night, and they can make tens of thousands of dollars and more just doing that. Like there's definitely, some big names that we've seen, like The Beaches or Grandson, if you're familiar with some current names. And they come in and do an hour and make like 30 grand, 40 grand. You're like, wow, that's
like my whole year's wage.
that's a lot of money, So there's no way I can say that you shouldn't do it this way or that way. Everybody's got to pursue their interests in their own path for sure. But maybe I'm being a little safe and secure or something with it. But I definitely appreciate getting the results that I have with the style that I've been going with so far.
Are you writing your own music? Is that something that you're interested in exploring, or are you more happy in the style that you are now?
I am interested in exploring it, but I've been saying it for so long that I'm almost sick of myself saying it. Like, I can't wait to get around and write that original music, and then I just, continue to sort of not do it. But I have done I've done a few original projects. They are really exciting. I'm proud that I've done them, but they aren't the main priority right now.
Fair enough, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked to, like, Cole was kind of the same thing. You know Cole Ridledge?
Yeah, of course.
And it was the same thing with him. We're like, hey, like, have you ever... He's like, no, like, I kind of just like jamming other people's stuff and, like, having fun was his focus rather than, like, I don't know. It's such a cool scope, especially in music, that you don't have to take one specific route.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know what I mean? And not one route is more valuable than the other one. When you talk about maybe a $30,000 show and it's quantifiable like that, a little different. But it's cool that you can kind of find your own path and make it work within it. You know, there's not one recipe for success. It's not like you have to be a breakout artist with your own original music in order to make it in music.
Yeah.
And just to build on that point a little, and absolutely no shade whatsoever, but I'll meet original bands who are absolutely killing it. Their music is awesome. They are on tour. They're going awesome, amazing places. But it only lasts 6 months of the year for them.
Yeah.
And then they got to go back and do whatever their job is.
True.
Yeah.
And again, that's no shade on whatever. But for me, I'm like, ooh, I kind of don't want to go back and do just some other job looking forward to that next 6 months. I want to live this life week in and week out, you know?
Yeah.
That's what you'd say.
So there's sort of a base level that I need to be hitting all the time in order to continue that lifestyle. And so far I've been doing that for a number of years now, and I gotta take pride in that, and that's sort of why I keep the ball rolling in the way that I do.
Well, maybe the road to the rock star life that you have now is not the way you thought it would go. But you kind of do have the rock star life now, like if you think about it, you know?
A little bit, for sure. Yeah, again, I really am humble at this point. I'm not just saying it, you know? But yeah, who knows? Who knows where the future will go and what paths can take? Yeah, there's no reason to put any limits on anything or expectations on anything really either. It's pretty cool to live in the moment and just sort of make it happen week by week, month by month, season by season. Yeah.
I love that, man. Love that. We're talking a little bit off camera before about running. You mentioned in your bio that you've done some ultra marathoning. Where does that drive come from? How did you get into it? Why?
Well, continuing on the humbles theme, I'm a very humble ultra runner. There's a lot of really strong, really fast people in the Bow Valley who absolutely crush out there. As an example, I ran the Golden Ultra last year for the first time. It's a 3-day event, and on the big day, it's a 60K run. Cool. Took me 10 and a half hours. Couldn't be more happy. It was a beautiful day. I was totally thrilled and proud of myself. But the people in the upper pack were finishing that in about 6 hours, a little less than 6 hours, the top dudes.
That's wild.
And it is wild because it's like 4.5 hours went by before I crossed the finish line. Not that those times are like a specific goal.
They could have lunch and a nap.
They could have run a literal other marathon, without a doubt. You know, if they had the time and the energy, literally could have done another 40K easy within that time window.
Wild.
So, with that being said, like, where does the drive come to be an ultra marathoner? It just came from getting out into the mountains summer after summer and accomplishing great hikes and getting up on the summits. And all of a sudden, you just find yourself pushing it more and more. All of a sudden, you're trail running when you used to be hiking. And then suddenly those distances of 30, 40, 50 kilometers plus, they start to become a lot more approachable and a lot more exciting. It's, for me, just a kind of a way cooler feeling to finish the day and be like, yo, I just did the rock wall in a day. We started at 6 a.m. and now it's 6 p.m. and we're on the other side of this. So like, and it's... that in itself is very inspiring for me, and beyond that, ultra marathoning just takes you at a cool, like the runner's pace is a really cool way to experience the mountains, and it just takes you to some like really incredible and special zones in the mountains, and it's incredibly soul fulfilling, you know.
Nice.
Well, that was kind of my thought process behind it. I kind of wanted to pick your brain about it because I knew you had done the rock wall. That's one of the big objectives I kind of have out of my mind is, expanding the distance you can cover in a day, right? Like, I don't know if I really want to be camping out there with all my gear, and just being able to experience the mountains at that pace, like you said, is a very interesting thing for me, for sure.
Do you find a connection maybe between like endurance sports and building a music career for yourself? Is there any kind of crossover, like?
100% there is. Yeah. It's not, one doesn't equal the other, but it's super It's just one of those things that it takes a long time. Like for me, I didn't wake up and become a strong, solid performer overnight. It took years and years and years.
Yeah.
I didn't wake up overnight and be like, hey, I need to run 50K to prove that to myself. It didn't happen like that. It took years and years and years of just like kind of plugging away at it, and those distances that seemed impossibly long before, like literally picture in your mind running from right here now all the way to Lake Louise Ski Hill. Like that's probably like 55 plus kilometers or something like that.
Yeah.
That seems insane.
I died before I got to the highway.
It seems insane in one breath. And then in another aspect, all of a sudden you get after it and you've got the fitness and the training and the fuel and everything you need to get it done. And then you're there and you're like, as if I was able to pull that off, you know?
no doubt.
And so I guess that ties in with the music too. It's like years and years go by, hundreds and thousands of hours of practice and effort and everything go by. And then all of a sudden, in times unexpected, you find yourself crossing those finish lines and you're just like, all right, this is a pat on the back moment for sure, you know?
No doubt.
Does that go from like setting lofty goals for you? How do you, where do you set your next objective?
I mean, it's on the trail running aspect, for sure. Every time you accomplish a new distance, it's like, all right, now what else opens up, you know? And it's not like I have a hot fire to be like, I need to run 200 kilometers or whatever, but I did a 60K last year. So all of a sudden I'm like, hey, the Banff Triple Crown, from the North Face up to Cascade, up to Rundle, up to Sulphur. You do it all on foot. I believe that's around 80 kilometers in a day, right?
That's crazy.
So that's adding 20 kilometers onto sort of my longer distances that I accomplished last summer. And you're like, all right, well, I was completely crushed at the end of that 60K day, but maybe I can start training and approaching that sort of an objective, you know?
Just picking away at it, right? Like
There's so many cool goals on my radar basically that are around, and you're just like, that would be awesome,
right?
And it is it's something, you put that seed in your brain, gives you something to train for, gives you something to work towards, and it's fun to take shots. Maybe you don't make it all the way. It's in a way, I'm getting middle-aged mature too. It's not all. It can be fun to not reach your goal sometimes as well. Like it doesn't have to be complete failure. I didn't do it. I can't. Whatever. It's like, man, I put up those great efforts, and here's where I came up short, or that's where I could have done better. You know, those sorts of learning moments become a lot more exciting, I guess, for me at this age than they were back in the day when you just be like, I hate myself because I didn't do it, and this sucks. You know, like.
Been there, done that. While we're sitting here in the beautiful tap room on an amazing spring day. What is your perfect Banff day? What does that look like for you?
Oh yeah, perfect Banff day. Well, I'll start by saying that I really appreciate that we get to experience all 4 seasons here in this town. But it is spring season right now, so what's a perfect spring day for me right now? I would probably wake up, probably go and have my favorite breakfast in town over at Coyotes there.
What's your go-to?
Get a double huevos.
Oh yeah, always.
Add chorizo. Get a grapefruit, orange juice with a shot of ginger in there, and then I would for sure head up to the ski hill. Hopefully, you get a perfect day like we're having, the blue skies, the sun. The conditions are slushy, but it's not sticky. It's fast.
Yeah.
I'm 42 years old. I've been about the park now for the last 2 years. It's weird that I'm getting into it, but I'm like, I'm stoked to get out there and sort of progress on these skills that I have a sense of progression, you know? I'm landing tricks that I never landed all back in the day, and it's pretty exciting. So I would get out and get amongst that energy, see people who are just stoked, the sun, everybody else throwing down out there. It's pretty exciting. And then I would maybe take a drive to Canmore, go to One Wellness, get a nice steam and a sauna, jump in the cold plunge there.
There you go.
Yeah, I get myself reset for the evening and then come back into town. And if I don't have a show that I'm getting to perform, maybe I'm getting to mix somebody else's show, some band or whoever, or maybe I'm getting to catch some of the local DJ scene and hit it up on the dance floor. Man, I still love to cut a rug on the D floor.
Hell yeah.
And I'd be happy to stack a day like that all day long, you know, that would be great for me.
That sounds like an all right day, man.
That's pretty sweet day, dude. That's a pretty sweet
Next time
day.
you're having one of those, give us a shout.
All right, deal.
What advice would you give to your younger self with everything that you've learned along the way about your journey?
Yeah, for sure. When I was in my youth, in my 20s specifically, I didn't really have too many people that I would look at like role models or people that I sort of generally had that like sense of trust for or whatever. So even though there were a lot of awesome people, solid people around me, a lot of times those advices and suggestions that they would be offering, they kind of got overlooked. They kind of got neglected. You know, I was on my own path, la 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 la, me, I got this sort of a vibe or whatever. And I ran into a lot of walls, man. It was that was definitely how I learned, for better or worse. You know, I had to crash and burn and make those mistakes on my own to really experience the consequences of, you know, my actions and behaviors. And it was tough, but if I could send myself back in time to counsel my younger self and really be like, hey, you need to listen to this stuff, bro, I would definitely try and teach myself to have more respect for those people around me, my friends, my relationships, my employers. Try not to treat people like they're just one-offs or disposable things. You know, even when relationships are sort of just genuinely coming to an end, they don't always have to end bitterly. They don't have to end in like, you know, I hate you or whatever the sort of vibe is. I would also tell myself to have respect for myself. I didn't just treat others poorly, I treated myself poorly too, you know. I would get too wasted. I would get too, I'd make too much of a foolish spectacle of myself, you know. I wanted that attention back in the day especially, and I would often create it for myself in a negative way. And lastly, I would try and teach myself how to be better with my money, how to learn how to save your money, start making, it's like saving your money is a real strength and discipline, how to invest the money that you save into things that are going to help it grow for your financial security and help you grow, you know, put those towards the things that are like a healthy way to make yourself stronger and better, you know?
All great advice. A lot of that kind of hit home with myself personally too there, man. Very, very well said. And that's kind of why I love talking to people that have lived in Banff, especially longer than I have, because it's like we've touched a lot of the same experiences, a lot of the same time frames too, as we've kind of grown up here. Mm-hmm. And a big thing that stands out in our conversation today is gratitude and humbleness. Like, your sense of humbleness is blowing me out of the water. And it was like something that I look up to in you, man. Like, your sense of humbleness and your gratitude for this place, this community, and yourself, you know? It's easy to kind of like I even said earlier in the episode, that we're lucky to live here. It's not really true. None of us are lucky. None of us like pulled this out of a hat and, you know, got given an opportunity here. You kind of have to make it for yourself. So, yeah.
I would touch on that point because I have my own sentiment as well, where it's like, luck does happen, but don't discredit yourself for all the effort you put in to set yourself up to be lucky.
Right.
To put yourself in the position to be lucky.
That's right. You know, lightning will strike, lucky things, good things will come your way. But it's not always just like, here you go, life throwing you a total bonbon. It's no, man. Yeah. I worked hard to put myself in a zone where the treats do sort of flow in this direction too, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Fair enough. Well,
very well said.
Where can people find your music or keep up with what you've got going on for the rest of the year here?
Easiest way to find me is on my Instagram, probably, if you're a social media person, at Andrew Staygold. You can keep your eye out for me around Banff and the Bow Valley. I'll be playing gigs, at the pubs and events and patios, hopefully all summer long. Be looking forward to booking up my calendar like that. And the most recent stuff coming up will be this Friday. I'm going to be with at the Oasa. I'm not exactly. I haven't been into their hall, but they're at 102 Banff Avenue. I think they've got a little downstairs space there.
Cool.
I'll be teaching some line dances for a sort of a seniors meet and greet.
Nice.
Although I believe it is open to all ages. And then this Saturday afternoon, there's a community cleanup day with the town of Banff, and I'll be happy to be playing some tunes down at the Sundance Pavilion out at the rec grounds there.
Sick. Very cool.
Nice. Listen to some good tunes. Clean up your neighborhood park. Sounds like a great little time.
I actually am one of those random things that I love to do. Love garbage picking. You know, it's fun to get around with the picker in the bag and just it feels good to clean up the trails around here. You know, pick up those wrappers and stuff.
Why not? I have a hard time walking past something not picking it up. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
used to do that fishing a lot. I'd go out there with 2 beers, come home with like 12 empties somehow.
Well, it goes back to that stewardship kind of aspect we were talking about. Like, I remember when I used to hang out at bars, being outside of them and having people kind of flick their butts on the ground. And back when I first moved here, people would like really ream you out and be like, you know where you're standing right now, bud? Like, pick that up. So
I think it's karma points. That's how I look at it.
Okay.
Be like, you pick each one of those up. Be like, hey, that's a karma point for you, my friend. You know.
Just banking them.
more points in that lucky bank for something to
I don't know
happen,
how
you know?
much you believe in the and everything like that, but for sure, that's something that goes through my mind for sure.
That's just a joke. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for coming in and chatting with us, Andrew.
my
This is a
pleasure.
long
Thank
time
you.
coming, man.
Thank you very much for having me.
We've been acquainted for a long time in the disc golf course, or
true,
the
actually, I forgot about
nightlife
that.
scene, and always great to catch up with you, man. Thank you so much for coming
Nice
by.
to see you, Dan.
Andy.
Thank you very much.
Big shout out to Defending Awesome, one of our newest sponsors. Big shout out to Drink Shaft. Big shout out to the Brew Pub too. They're opening on their summer hours now, so taproom should be open here shortly. Come on down and give our boy Quinn some love. Anything else for today?
I think that's it, man.
I think that's all we got. Let's
yeah.
go back out and enjoy some of the sunshine, gentlemen. What do you think?
Sounds
Yeah.
like a great idea.
I'm into
Right
that.
on. Well, that's all we got for you this week. Like every week, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Hey.